kind of neat. On the West Coast, it's kind of early in the morning. It's 6:50 in the morning on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, it's about
10 to 10.
Yeah. So it's perfect. Today and tomorrow is going to be at this time, guys, because like I said, my shift is changing, and so there might be a few little adjustments even next week, maybe 20 minutes earlier, even at 6:50. But I'll play with that later. But I love it in the morning anyway. Get your energy going, get your flowing, get some stuff. And I guess Connor must have today off because I see him at home. So awesome.
I'm off until I am 30 years old. So I'm off for the rest of the days. So that's why I might be taking a trip this weekend. But I'm trying to talk Jack and Mitch into making a little 48-hour horror film, for my birthday. Trying to make something magical.
Are the best horror movies when you make them on the spot. You just those are usually always the best one. And actually, I don't know why I'm not a Yeti speaker. Now I am. Can you guys hear me just fine?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even realize I didn't make that adjustment. But I think I got something cool this morning. I think of all people, Connor is going to like this first cryptid in a way. It's a news story. It's a newscast doing an investigation on the Cherokee Little People. As legend tells it, they lived underground. So this is about the Cherokee Little People. And I was almost going to make the show title this, but I thought, what? I probably offend somebody by putting the words Cherokee Little People. Somebody out there is going to take it out of content. So I said, what? I'll play on the safe side. But this is the little people. We got to celebrate the little people out there. So here we go. This is a new story. This is not like a origin kind of story. This is about a person who wrote a book about the Cherokee Little People.
For years, stories have been passed down about Cherokee Little People.
As legend has it, they lived underground. News 13's Rex Hodge joins us from the Western News Center.
Rex, a local author, has a new book out about these little people. Does she believe they exist?
She does. Mary Joyce's book is called Cherokee Little People Were Real, and she says there's evidence to prove it, but others aren't so sure.
My giant curiosity. I mean, little people that nobody seemed to know about.
Mary Joyce started collecting notes more than a decade ago about legends of little people in our western mountains, finally putting out a book. Cherokee Little People Were Real.
They were here before the Cherokee.
She says the Cherokee came from the Great Lakes region thousands of years ago, arriving to find little people who lived underground.
Would tend their gardens at nighttime by the moonlight, and originally the Cherokee called them the Moon People.
And she says the Cherokee adopted them. Joyce bases much of her book on the recollections of two men who grew up hearing little people stories, claiming to have seen evidence, including tunnels near older buildings at Western Carolina University, like the McKee building, built in the 30s.
And these tunnels, I guess, were like a network.
I don't doubt that they are telling the truth, but I just haven't seen any evidence myself.
Jane Eastman.
I'm going to continue this, but I like when she's talking about tunnels. I think on a show in the past, we talked about tunnels. Bigfoot and stuff might be having tunnels.
Is Western's Director of Cherokee Studies and works in the McKee building. She ran excavations near the building between 2003 and 2005 and found Cherokee homes.
What I didn't find was any evidence of tunnels. I don't have any reasons to doubt other people's beliefs and understandings.
And they do really believe that these things do exist. And they're only about 2 feet tall when they're fully grown.
Cherokee history lecturer Freeman Owl has spoken to Eastman's classes about the little people. He says many Cherokee believe in them and their existence.
They will develop this belief in these little people, just like people would develop a belief in God.
Mary Joyce will talk about her book and the Cherokee Little People at City Lights in Silva tomorrow night at 6:30. Reporting live tonight from the Western News Center, Rex Hodge, News 13.
All right, so Connor, I know you know about the little people. Tell us about the Cherokee Little People.
Yeah, it's very cool hearing it on a news broadcast, first and foremost, because, it would be something to hear it from a YouTuber and everything, but this was official. But yes, there is little people legends all around the world, but it's very interesting that they live in under tunnels underneath our feet. Of course, we could see the mountains in the background. They definitely live in caverns and labyrinths under there, but it's crazy to think how close they actually get to us. And I've actually interviewed people that have had firsthand sightings in their own house of these little people. But definitely along the Appalachian Trail, they are heavy in numbers. I'm going to be camping with Manimal Research in the Cherokee National Forest, so we're going to be looking for the little people. But again, I feel like I say it on a lot of these episodes, like Dobby, like these little elf legends. Of course, we've seen the videos from Edwin Saunders online. He has these connections to these little pixie people, and they're very similar, about 2 feet tall. But there is crazy video here in America of these little people like sneaking from behind cars on native reservations. So definitely recommend it. They are weird. They are mischievous. Don't get in any little, don't owe them anything. Don't get any riddles. Don't trust them. That's all I can say.
That lady filmed one in her driveway a couple of years ago, remember? And he's walking by, flapping his arms like that.
Yeah, we showed that on our channel here.
Yeah.
Some people said alien, but I never thought about Cherokee little people. That could be right.
And the picture they used that they showed for I don't know if it was trying to show a Cherokee girl or the little people, but it's from the movie Baraka, which is a very cool sensory overload video. That Baraka and Samsara are 2 movies that they were just filmed all around the world with indigenous people, different cultures, just a really explosive cinematic way of life. And I was like, oh, is that the same cover? And then I looked it up. I was like, yeah, that's really cool.
I wish I can remember the video that I seen. This guy's riding a dirt bike through a trail, and a little, I mean, literally, this thing was like this big. It was like 1.5 feet tall, and it runs by. He stops the dirt bike, gets off, and goes to run after this thing. But it like dove under like a crevice in the ground, and it was gone. I don't know if you ever seen that video, but it's wild. If I find it, I'll send it to you. It's a really wild video.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I've definitely seen multiple little people videos. They're out there, and there's a whole race of these pygmy little.
I wouldn't be surprised. People. I would not be surprised, man.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm surprised that, like you said, a news channel actually did a story about the Cherokee little people. I mean, they're out there. You know, we can't watch every news channel there is. That's even if you even watch the news. I mean, there's so many local news that, you know, sometimes they do cover these kind of stories. We just got to find them. And, appreciation for them doing it. And they weren't really making fun of the story. They weren't mocking it. They were just telling the story of what the woman's book's about. And that was kind of cool. But talking about little people, I got another cryptid about the funny little ape men of East Africa. So I'm going small today for the cryptids. This is called a Agagwi, I guess. Agagwi. So let's check out the little ape people.
The Agagwe, also known as the Kakanakari or Kalamba in Zimbabwe and Congo, is a human-like creature spotted in the forests and jungles of East Africa. It was first sighted in 1900 by Captain William Hickens, but was reported 37 years later in the December issue of the Discovery magazine. Description: it usually stands between 2 and 5 feet tall with several human features. The creature is also said to have odd characteristics such as long arms and rusty-colored hair covering its body, with yellowish-red skin under its coat. Sometimes it is described as copper. Its feet are roughly 5 inches long. The differences between the Agagwe and a modern chimpanzee is that the Agagwe has a rounded forehead, smaller but sharper teeth, and the hair and skin color. Sightings. The first recorded sighting was by Captain William Hickens, reported in the December 1937 edition of the journal Discovery. Some years ago I was sent on an official lion hunt in this area, the Usher and Simibit forests on the western side of the Wembear Plains, and, while waiting in a forest glade for a man-eater, I saw 2 small, brown, furry creatures come from dense forest on one side of the glade and disappear into the thickets on the other. They were like little men, about 4 feet high, walking upright, but clad in russet hair. The native hunter with me gazed in mingled fear and amazement. They were, he said, Agagwe, the little furry men whom one does not see once in a lifetime. The next year, Vintner Cuthbert Burgoyne wrote a letter to the journal describing a sighting of something similar in 1927. In 1927 I was with my wife coasting Portuguese East Africa in a Japanese cargo boat. We were sufficiently near to land to see objects clearly with a glass of 12 magnifications. There was a sloping beach with light bush above upon which several dozen baboons were hunting for and picking up shellfish or crabs, to judge by their movements. 2 pure white baboons were amongst them. These are very rare, but I had heard of them previously. As we watched, 2 little brown men walked together out of the bush and down amongst the baboons. They were certainly not any known monkey, and yet they must have been akin, or they would have disturbed the baboons. They were too far away to be seen in great detail, but these small human-like animals were probably between 4 and 5 feet tall, quite upright and graceful in figure. At the time I was thrilled, as they were quite evidently no beast of which I had heard or read. Later a friend and big game hunter told me he was in Portuguese East Africa with his wife and 3 other hunters, and saw mother, father and child, of apparently similar animal species, walk across the further side of a bush clearing. The natives loudly forbade him to shoot. The Igagwe is likely a surviving species of Australopithecine, a primate which lived 2.5 million years ago as a very early form of humans. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please.
All right. So in some ways, if that ended up here in the United States, maybe we're mistaking the Cherokee little people with these, or maybe vice versa.
Yeah, very interesting. It kind of reminded me of the Vietnam rock ape kind of size and shape, from like 4 to maybe 5 feet tall, thick and strong, monkey-like. But that was very cool, hearing them walk alongside the baboons and not disturbing them. And then also the white baboons, that there's some kind of rarity. Maybe they were attracted to those baboons for a reason. But I think that adds a little bit more to the piece of the puzzle of the Sasquatch story. You know, maybe we can understand them just a little bit more. If we had more heavier monkey population here in America, maybe we would see more of a relationship between them. But the only monkeys I know is here in Florida, the rhesus monkeys, and that's because of the Tarzan disaster.
That last one that they showed was pretty big. So how tall that was? I forgot.
Oh yeah,
the last
one.
Yeah,
I think they're a little bit bigger than the little people for sure.
Yeah.
And I saw Chris Jarvis said that Edwin Saunders was a proven CGI fake. I've definitely heard, all of those theories, of course, and I'm definitely leaning that way. I was using it as an example of those little people. Just because one dude uses CGI doesn't mean they aren't out there, of course.
Yeah, yeah, and there are always going to be skeptics, and people are going to disclaim any kind of evidence that's even out there. So even if somebody tells you something might be CGI fake, you should look at it yourself. Make your own judgment, because 2 people might hate somebody. Somebody might hate Bigfoot, and I don't know anybody would hate him that would do a hit piece on him, but they could come out and disown every footage he comes out with, and we know what's real.
Shame on YouTube for still allowing that to be up. That guy said he was going to shoot me in my face, and that's still up. And they want to take down our Venom video. Are you serious? I don't even want to say his name, but some crazy MFer went crazy. Like, he was trying to sabotage the show when I was on Space Out Radio. He was calling me a meth head. Like, what? I don't know. Didn't you guys watch the Space Out Radio show? I thought it was. I thought I got probably 90 out of 100, on my test.
No, you did fantastic.
But that guy, he was calling me a meth head, and then a bunch of people stood up for him. And then I, kind of got funny.
I'm not thinking about who I'm thinking about.
The next day, I go on his channel, and he actually has like 5K subscribers. Pretty crazy. And I look at one of his videos, he's got like 30 views. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. It deserves more than 12 views. LOL. So I saw him in how low he's been. And he just went crazy. And then it was funny because a couple people went on the comments and were like, yeah, I don't like that guy either. And then he went at them. He's like, I can't trust you either. So clearly he's just in a self-sabotage situation. But yeah, he made some crazy threats. And a couple of my friends are like,
make sense.
Really high alert right now.
Doesn't make sense, Connor. I had a hit piece on me. I did a complaint about it.
I had one too.
And there's nothing you can do about it. They won't do anything about it. And then they'll take off a simple, small video that you did that's nothing compared to what this is. And they have the hatred thing on there. They have the hated speech, but I don't know.
He was calling me a double agent because I took a picture with Jeffrey Meldrum. And if he listened to my videos, you know, Meldrum's cool and all, but I don't give a dang about Meldrum. Like, I honestly don't. You know, he's a cool dude, but I'm more about the underground. You guys saw my video. I'm about the community, not about big speakers. So, like, honestly, me and the crazy guy are like, we stand for the same cause in a way. But I'm just so, I guess I'm more rational, which is crazy because usually I'm the cool one.
But
Connie, you gotta send me the link to that because I don't see it.
But some weird guy donated to the channel. I don't know who this guy is.
Who that guy is, man.
But man, that's awesome. Guys, we're gonna move on over to some paranormal. I got some paranormal that was caught on camera again. Like I said, it's up to you what you want to believe. All right, I got some ghosts caught on camera again. Oh, by the way, Terry Brown, I just told these two guys that there's going to be a 5-day delay on the cartoon. Some little changes they're going to put in there. That's going to be cool. You're going to love it. So Terry, don't expect nothing this weekend. More likely the voices will be recorded for next weekend. But beyond that, this is a ghost caught on a Nest camera. So Nest is basically like a Ring camera. There's different brands out there. So this is a ghost that's caught on a Nest camera. You see on the bottom right, with the black door, you see this white little thing there, right there. And the whole deal zoom up.
Oh, there it is.
And that's how fast it is. That's how fast it is. But when you look at it, what's interesting about it is, we could say, well, it's probably a reflection of a light. And I'm not saying it's not. But it looked like it was actually making a decision on where to go. So if you watch it again, kind of watch its movement. Watch its movement. It's like it was going up, then it shaved. So, like I said, I'm not telling you this is a real ghost or not, but you got to look at everything that your camera catches, every little thing. Can it be a light flash? Of course. Could it be a glare inside the camera itself? Of course. But what if it's not? What if it did capture a semi ghost that barely, doesn't have full energy to come out full ghost, a little bit like an orb in a way. Well,
yeah, it's definitely interesting. And like a Nest camera, I'm not too familiar, but is it like motion? Is it motion camera?
Yes,
like
almost,
did this capture motion?
It's like a Ring. It's on the same
like Ring camera, right?
Ring. It's just, you have like two brands you can buy. They're both top brands. Nest is not a cheap product. It's the same level as a Ring. So if you trust a Ring, you're going to trust a Nest.
Nice. But yeah, it looks consistent. There's a movement or energy on the ground and then in the air, and it moves together. So it's either one source or very good CGI.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And see right there, it kind of goes up and then goes down. So and typical real fake CGI would have it go in one direction. So this kind of a CGI, if it is a CGI fake, the guy at least had a little more brains to make sure it did an extra little movement so it doesn't just look like a straight across.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anthony, when you see this, you think there might be some shot to this? This could be real?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh!
I don't know what else it could be unless a spider got like right in front of the camera, but you would see the
Sorry about that.
I don't think it's a spider or anything like that.
No.
In front of
and a glare, usually I mean, you're more of a camera guy than I am, but I usually know that a glare usually stays in kind of a one spot unless you're moving the camera. But this thing moved, so if it was a glare, it wouldn't have moved like that.
I don't think that was a glare because you would need a light source in the camera to get a big enough glare like that. A lens flare or something, you would need a light source coming into the camera, and it was kind of dim in that location. I sent you, Enzo Sorel sent me the video of that little being running past the dirt bike rider. He found it for us. I sent it to your WhatsApp if you decide you'd like to show it.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Enzo.
Here, let me, because I got the WhatsApp here. So we're talking about, oh, hold on a second. I'm just getting it ready.
YouTube channel.
This is getting it ready. This kind of fits in with the little people. So we'll kind of show it now.
This is the one I was talking about a little while ago. I thought this was really interesting. This video.
I got like 3-4 videos in the UFO section today. So let me share the screen here and let's see what they sent us.
And good morning to everybody. I see everybody saying hello. I see everybody. It's just I feel rude typing back on my phone while we're live.
So here we go. Here we
go. There he is, that little guy.
Yeah.
Let me go back 2 seconds. Here we go.
Something with dirt bikes. There's so much footage with Sasquatch and these little people being attracted to it. Look at your story with the UFOs even.
That's right.
You think maybe because of dirt bike, they're not used to like somebody like being that fast, so they don't really have a chance to escape as quick as somebody on feet, maybe?
Well, just think somebody so small like that living maybe in another parallel dimension or under the ground or whatever, who knows? Maybe they were startled by the loud noise and the speed of the device. Maybe they don't have things like that. But just the fact that he caught that, and it doesn't look CGI at all. I mean, it looks like a legitimate little being of some kind.
And they look scared.
Yeah, he almost looks tribal too, right? Kind of like no clothing on. He's got a stick in his hand, right?
Yeah, super feral.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if this type of being right there would be magical enough to, you know, but you said it did just disappear into a crevice, but it is pretty high grass, you know, but there's some of these creatures that they'll just dive into a rock,
Look,
you know, and they'll disappear.
Turn around, his freaking thing's gone.
Yeah, right there. Here we go. Let's do it again.
Look how little he is.
There's a whole crazy conspiracy about St. Patrick, you know, who we represent and congratulate on March 17th, but St. Patrick hunted down a whole race of these little people in Ireland, and it's a really sad story.
St. Patrick was Italian. I just want to put that out there.
That's hilarious.
Now this next one is, you know, I'm always questionable on orbs. I believe in orbs, but I don't believe that every footage of an orb is an actual orb. And this one was claimed orb caught on camera following me. And then I was looking at this orb, and I don't know. I don't think it is. So I thought, here, I'll just share it. It's only like 30 seconds. Here we go. It went up. Maybe too dark of a video. It goes up in the middle. Weird. Well, fuck that video. I guess it's too dark or too small on StreamYard to be able to see it, but there was an orb that went straight up and it didn't really make a lot of movement. But the person who put the video in claimed it was following it, but I never saw that orb following anybody.
Well, hold on a minute. In the guy's defense that filmed that, I have had issues like that where I physically see the object through my scope of night vision, but then when I record it, due to how many frames a second I'm using or whatever, I just don't catch it as clear as I seen it through the scope for some reason.
Well,
So
when I watched it, I
having
could
a
see it
technical
just
issue.
fine. Just right now, StreamYard, it's not clear.
Could be a resolution issue as
It's
well.
got to be a resolution. It's got to be a StreamYard recast because it was straight up.
Don't forget, StreamYard compresses the footage that you're using a second time.
I just saw it. It went straight up. It's yeah.
I see
StreamYard is not. Well, that was a bust. But I'll tell you guys what. If you live in the Phoenix area, here's a paranormal of different places in Phoenix. You guys want to check out. If anybody lives in Arizona, want to check out some haunted places. This is a video of different haunted places in Phoenix.
All right, everyone. If you're in search of ghosts this Halloween, Arizona has plenty of options. The Grand Canyon State has stories about paranormal activity at the Jerome Grand Hotel and ghosts hovering at the Hotel Vendome in Prescott. Ghostly inmates are said to still be at the Yuma Territorial Prison, and Phoenix has plenty to choose from right here in the Valley. In fact, one local historian is giving you a paranormal preview.
Hi, my name is Marshall Shore. I'm also known as the Hip Historian, and I get to have lots of fun with Arizona history. I show people kind of the weird, the wonderful, and the quirky bits of Arizona's past. I would say some of the top haunted places, one of them would be the Hotel San Carlos, built in 1928. There are stories about how you'll see a figure in white wandering up the stairs to the very top. There are talks about how you can hear or you'll smell her rose-scented perfume on the 3rd floor where she was staying. I had some friends that were there last summer for a staycation, and they heard knocking on doors down the hall, and it kept getting closer until it got to their room, and they heard the door knock and the knob turn. And so her boyfriend leaped open the door, and there was no one there. The Rosen House is haunted as well. There was a groundskeeper who was staying on the property, and someone broke in and shot him. And so it's talked about how he still hangs out there. You've got the Teeter House, which is now where the restaurant Nobo is. There's a story about a woman who, when she lived there, she misplaced her keys. She couldn't find them. She searched everything for those keys. She found them under the sink in the very back, someplace she hadn't been in quite a long time. And there was no way her keys would have wound up there. The Orpheum is indeed haunted. One of the things that is talked about how it used to be in the lobby had 2 floors, and people have seen a light going across the 2nd floor as though someone is walking through. I had a friend who was there to see a show and ran into a spirit that is called Maggie, and she is dressed in mid-century attire. And my friend approached her to ask her about her hat. She said she thought it was really nice. And as she walked up to her, she disappeared. We've got McAlpine's, the little soda shop there on 7th Street. One of the old owners actually hangs out by the cash register and kind of watches the till. There's a couple other energies, and they've also talked about how at night when they go to turn off the lights, it sounds like there's a big party going on in the room next door. So here at the Ellis Stratershaw Courthouse, which is now home to the Arizona Humanities, I had a friend who was working here, and he was the lone man on a staff of women. And there were days where he would be the last one to leave and the first one to come in. And sometimes his desk would be completely rearranged, but he knew no one else was coming in. And there we go. And I was talking to
that was
a friend of the family, and she was like, "Oh my God, that is just like Grandma Shack, that she loved to play tricks on her boys." And so that's what she was doing still. My website is marshallshore.com.
So basically, guys, if you live in the Arizona area, there's a couple places there you guys might want to check out. And if any of you guys go out there, check it out, film it, send it to me. I'll show it. Hey, look, we got a new member.
I just had to redo my membership, but I had to get a new debit card. I got to do a couple of them.
And I want to thank, there was another, I have to go back. Oh, here it is. I want to thank Sweet Carolina. Sweet Caroline. I want to thank her. I'm going to give her the special la la la. If I can find it again. Here we go. and then we'll give Anthony this. I tell you what, in the morning, that is such an annoying sound. If you had to use an alarm clock, I think that's the sound I would use
Hell
to wake
no.
up. So,
That
guys,
alarm
if you're
clock
in
will go right out the
Arizona,
window.
check it out. But beyond that, guys, I got a lot of UFO stuff today. So we actually got a lot. So let's just jump on over and get some UFO into. All right, we got a lot of UFO stuff today. We got some stuff from Identify S4 that he just sent me right before the show.
Unseen, never been seen.
The first couple of
Fresh.
video is sometimes I like listening to the conversation of the news channels when they talk about it, kind of see like how are they talking about it? Are they making fun of it? Are they talking about it for real and all that? But there is a phenomenon out there right now that UFO clouds and sky. And in this one, they talk about what it is. And sometimes I always, when you hear some channel saying what it is or what's making it, sometimes you ask yourself, are they just saying that? Are they just pulling out of their ass?
You mean
Or,
lenticular clouds you're talking about?
Yeah, and this one is UFO and Ontario residents capture unusual formation in the sky.
If you looked up at the sky in southern Ontario on August the 10th, you may have spotted a peculiar cloud formation. Photos poured in from the London area with requests for an explanation. This is a fall streak hole, also known as a sky punch or hole punch cloud. It's quite an unusual event and has been mistaken for a UFO. The streaks develop when ice crystals form, causing the water droplets in the clouds to evaporate and leave a large hole. They're usually triggered by an aircraft ascending or descending from this mid-level cloud, leaving ice crystals in its wake and setting off the chain reaction.
So, like I said, there is a lot of phenomenon, real or not, about UFOs creating some of these cloud stuff, and now they're saying, well, a lot of it's created by crystals or this and this and this. And I'm not a scientist. I don't know. Is this just fucking just easy cover-ups for whatever cloud that might be created from an actual UFO? What do you think, Anthony?
Not that particular one. That's a hole punch cloud. That's legit. But I have seen clouds that do look like UFOs. I've taken photos of triangular holes punched out of clouds that were blocking the stars, and I was convinced that a triangular craft was sitting there. I've seen some strange 50-50 on the fence. Don't know if it was a UFO, don't know if it was a cloud, but some of them are very odd where I lean more towards the unidentified object sitting there in the sky post a cloud. But that one right there is definitely a hole punch cloud.
So, Connor, what do you think about UFO clouds?
I definitely think they're fascinating. Of course, Nope got me hype on them, rehyped, because I've always been into the deities of the sky. I think things are floating and there's castles up there, Jack and the Beanstalk. But this is just something else to look out for. Something else for all of us to maybe just collect data on and see if there's, connection between New York, Florida, Seattle, with Brown Dwarf at Mount Shasta, and let's see if these same formations are showing up, and all we can do is then draw conclusions. So it's just really cool to even spread awareness about it, even if it's a weather phenomenon, just like how they say it. Nope. Oh, that's not good enough. That's not proof. There's weather phenomenon out there. But again, it's all magical in God's kingdom.
Yeah, like you said, like Anthony said, this is obvious part of the weather, but the thought process of the UFO clouds is fascinating, because if a UFO comes, I'm talking about a real UFO that's from another world, they got to go through a cloud. Would a UFO ship have some kind of enough radiation that helps it fly when it goes through a cloud? it keeps the shape of the UFO that went through because of the radiation from the ship. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't know if they're here, what kind of technology they're using, or do they just go right through the cloud and it goes right close? But if they have some kind of a energy thing, you know, it might be a possibility that it opens up a hole when it comes through and it stays that way because of the radiation from the ship. I'm just stretching it.
Yeah, anything's possible with energy, especially with water and air, wind. It's all the elements. So yeah, if they really needed something to charge up to maybe go to another world or another land, a cloud might be the perfect window for it. It's like the eye in the sky. But I don't know, man. I just love looking at it. We get to be the eyes down here.
Now here's another news channel that's covering a UFO spotted over Aurora. You know, and like I said, sometimes it's not the video they showed is pretty interesting, but sometimes I like to listen to their conversation. What do they think about it?
Welcome back to BT. Keep your eyes to the skies, friends.
So
Have you
dramatic.
seen what happened on September 20th in the skies of Aurora? Not far from where we're all living right now.
Like an aurora.
Look at
aurora
this.
Borealis?
Not a borealis, D. You explain this.
What's that? That's the moon? Somebody
this
moving
was
while
at a
they're looking at the moon?
stoplight at 14877 Young Street.
Okay.
Uploaded to YouTube a few days ago. We don't know by who.
We added the
Apparently,
music.
The UFO was moving so fast. Was it a UFO? I don't know. They're speculating. It wasn't moving in a straight line. You'll notice the erratic patterns. Eventually, it stopped, seemed to hover in the sky. All of a sudden, it changed color and disappeared. In 2019, there were 849 UFO sightings across Canada, or so they think. The number has nearly doubled this year. What do we think,
Because people
friends?
are bored in the house bored. That's why it doubled.
For something.
What do you
They're
think?
like, hey,
Dee?
what's that? That's a star.
Oh, jeez.
What do you think, Devo?
Hey, Mabel. What's that? That's the moon.
Assess.
You haven't seen it in a long time because you kept your head buried. That looked like maybe a drone?
A drone?
Drunk droning.
I was gonna
feel
say,
like that's
See, like I'm saying, you know, drone is always going to be the easiest one for everybody. Who's going to make it. I'm not making an excuse saying that's not what it is. It's a drone.
what. Yeah, drunk droning.
Zigzaggy, right? That
Mel?
was someone
Don't
on
drone
Twitter
drunk
said that,
people.
right?
Come on.
Right?
A
It was-
BT viewer said it's Mars. They're saying this
No,
with
no.
like they know that it's Mars.
No, it's not Mars. There's no chance that's Mars.
we did.
And that's kind of making people sound stupid right there, saying they think it's Mars. Come on, everybody knows up in the sky, stars and stuff don't move like that dramatic. So somebody saying it's Mars, that's kind of like making fun of people, in my opinion.
A poll on this one, by the
Yeah.
way. 66% of our viewers think that's definitely not a UFO, and I'm going to
Okay.
join that. I don't know what that was.
So, okay, 60% of people in a poll saying it's not a UFO. Well, if you can't identify it, then yes, it is a
unidentified.
UFO. It might not be a spaceship that you think, but if you can't identify it, then it's definitely a UFO.
Unidentified.
It's definitely
But it
weird
was
if you're
not a
seeing
UFO.
that
It's-
happening.
it's
like
all
if whoever
right.
filmed it, yeah.
What was that?
I
What do
like
you
this
think
one
that
by
was?
way. No, it's not a drone. No intelligent life would want to visit this knuckle dragging planet.
it's not a UFO, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know? And if there are so many, how come they like come by and then they never do a pit stop? They never do a hey, how's it
And I always hate those kind of conversations. Where, well, they haven't pit stop. Well, how do you know they haven't made a pit stop? I mean, we don't know if they land and talk to people walking around. So when people say they don't know if they're doing a pit stop, again, you know, sometimes, like I said, I like listening to the conversation of people, what they think. And you can already tell that these three will never, ever give the UFOs the full credit that it deserves. Like they will never believe that could be a possibility of a outside world spaceship from another dimension, interdimensions, another space or whatever. They're automatically going to think it's a drone and all that. But that's the average flavor of people. I mean, I hate to say it.
That's because they want to talk about it, but they don't do their due diligence and investigate. They only talk about what they see. They don't dig into the story any more than what they see visually.
Yeah, they didn't even believe in Earth, man. They didn't even believe in themselves. So I don't really count on them or expect them to believe in anything in the sky. Just their dialect was sad. It was self-hatred to get laughs. I'm not for it. I think us three put on a better broadcast than those bozos.
And that's why sometimes I like playing those, because the flavor of how people react, how they talk about it. And unfortunately, that's the average person out there. They're not going to give it the respect that he deserves.
Sure.
It might be, it could be a drone at night. I'm not saying it's not, but if you have, I don't know, if you have just good drones that high up, you got to have a good drone to be able to fly it that high up. Would you really fly it, a lot of it at night, taking a chance of not getting it back?
I flew my drone and didn't get it back. It got all haywire and it crashed a couple blocks down. And I went to the neighbor's house to get it back, because they have GPS. The guy literally tried telling me it wasn't in his backyard. And I'm like, I'm looking at it on the GPS. And I never got it back. Couldn't believe it.
It's crazy. Now, this next one is actually from Identify S Force channel, a channel that's run by a guy named Anthony. So if you guys ever go to Anthony's stuff, give him a thumbs up. Say hi to him. He's a great guy. So this one's called Georgia UFO Fleet in Color.
You see it?
Wow, this is old.
Yeah, I can run over there.
Good thing about UFO footage and Sasquatch footage, it's timeless. You know?
I mean, it's like one of
your first ones on your channel?
Yeah.
Wow. You came a long way.
What I like about it is the amount of UFOs that are there, not just one or two. I mean, you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there?
You believe it?
8.
8, yeah.
I mean, how do you explain it? Is that 8 drones? Are you gonna tell me all 8 of those are drones and they're gonna take a chance and hit each other?
This guy was filming this over his backyard, he told me. And you don't see any pulsing from the strobe lights on the drones, the FAA lights. So, very odd.
Wow. And then it looked like one just flew off, too.
Quickly one, yeah, it took off.
Yeah.
Then I'll put a link for that video if you guys want to check it out. But just the amount of that is just like crazy.
And below the tree line, I remember there was other ones below the tree line that if you look on the tree line, you'll see them pop out every now and then. They're very low.
Oh. Augusta, Georgia. Very cool.
And then, guys, just this morning, I was sent a lot of stuff we got to check out here. This is, let me go here. Oh, I got to get on that page. There it is. Okay, let's do this. Now, this first one, it says, something blue I cut up. So this is the first one.
Something, I was filming Fort Earl Naval Station, Weapons Depot over New Jersey the night before, and something blew up. The minute I turned the night vision on, I caught it. I couldn't believe it. What was odd was I couldn't see it with my eyes. I only seen it through the night vision. So I don't know what light spectrum it was in, but I got it.
Let's check it out.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What the hell was that?
Now you're saying...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I couldn't see it with my eyes. I only seen that through the night vision.
So you took away your night vision and you couldn't even see that, huh?
Nope. No.
Because that looks so bright that you would think you'd be able to see it with your own eyes without your night vision.
Nope. Could not see that with my eyes. Nope, not at all.
It's amazing how it's lighting up the clouds above it too. Like that looks cinematic, man. But
initially I saw the transformer blue or something like that, but being that I couldn't, you would have definitely seen that light with your own eyes if it was a transformer.
What the hell was?
I have no clue. No sound either.
And that Connor said, since it lighted up the sky, you would think you would see that with your own eyes.
No, sir, did not. And I called Fort Earl Naval Weapons Depot and asked them if anything blew up on or near the base, and I was just told no comment. And I was given a number for their media team or whatever, like the people that deal with media. And no comment yet from them.
And you looked at, and nobody has any
nothing on the news so far.
So that flash, what city is that with those lights over there? What city is that over?
New Jersey.
That is actually New Jersey. Well, I guess nothing surprises me in New Jersey.
Hey, I honestly think it might be like some kind of experiment, like CERN, something opening up at an odd hour and they
Dude,
didn't
who
expect
knows?
anybody to see it.
They could have been projecting some kind of new weapon from the base into space.
Yeah.
And I caught it in a different light spectrum. Who knows, man? But I heard no sound, as you can hear, just the ocean. I hear and me saying, "Oh shit," and yeah, it was really weird.
Oh shit!
That's amazing. That opens up the possibilities
shit.
of like more stuff to look out for
What
all of
the
us,
hell
even for
was
you, just
that?
because I know you weren't expecting something like that. But now it's like, oh man, what else? What else have I missed? What else is coming?
And then about 12 minutes, not even 8 minutes after that happened, I was photographing that section of the sky, and I just sent Eric the photo. I caught a triangle formation, just a light triangle in the clouds. You'll see I took 2 shots, but only got 1. So you'll see that when he shows it. It's also in the
I'm gonna go,
but in the same area.
And real quick, guys, at 8 o'clock this morning, all the people are here. Just remember, if you like good shows, right here you got Chad Smith podcast starting at 8 a.m. Their guest is Adam Begin. He's a historian, ghost hunter.
Awesome.
That sounds pretty interesting because I don't know who. Maybe I should know who this guy is, but I don't.
Maybe
Adam Begin. Never heard of him.
I'm sure you will begin to.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to learn, new people because I don't know who this person is, but that's on about 23 minutes. And
anybody that the Chad Smith podcast has on is cool, and they do a phenomenal show.
I just want to say how cool the mornings are, though. Like us 3 have become a really cool trio, and then you have Spooky, Sonny, and Chad Smith coming right after. Like, oh
They're
my
just
god,
dynamite.
that's a magical morning. Like we can all just get away from the static of the world for a little bit and just evaporate into each other. It's magic, man.
There is a difference. There is one main difference between them and us. We're way better looking.
And we don't get eaten by dinosaurs.
No offense to them. We're way better looking. And
we're in this life and they're in the next life right now. And
yeah,
in the next cartoon, somehow, old man Indiana Jones gonna, lose the map.
and both shows have a connection. They both have a guy. They have a guy and myself that are born and raised in Fresno. So I guess you could say that we both have Fresno ties into these shows. So a little Fresno love. Now let's get off of this one. Let's go to this one. Now this next one is
this
another
one blew my
UFO
mind.
last night.
This was another cigar-shaped object that flew in front of me last night.
I just want to make sure I get on the big screen.
I should say what appeared to be a cigar-shaped object.
Here we go.
Oh, look at this. Oh, it's a cigar. Another one. Oh, man, it's so cool. I definitely got that. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's a cigar. Another one. Oh, man, it's so cool. I definitely got that.
It sounded like Barry was out there doing research. You sounded so excited. You channeled your character a little bit.
Dude, it's like so mind-blowing when you see something like that, and it's just mind-blowing. Like the feeling you get in your insides is like overwhelming.
Something bigger than all of us. It's something bigger than what they tell us is out there.
So Anthony, if somebody goes, hey Anthony, that's probably just a satellite or a meteorite, what would you say to them?
Well, I've never seen a lenticular satellite before. That particular object itself was, I don't know, maybe 100 foot long, 80 foot long. I mean, it was huge, and it kept that shape the whole way through. That's how I seen it with my eyes as well. So it was really wild to see.
Anthony, how can you tell that it was 80 feet? Very interesting.
I'm just, there's no way to tell in the sky. It's just pure speculation. It was very long.
Okay. I didn't know if on your your radar vision there's like a line or something to be able to tell.
I wish there's not. I'm just total speculation out of my ass.
Well, it looks very large. I'm with you.
It was big though. I mean, it was compared to seeing the objects I see in the sky. It was very big.
Well, this is how I look at it. You're doing this almost every day.
Yeah, every day.
So when somebody does something every single day, you kind of learn the area, you kind of learn the distance. You know, it's natural. Like when you get a new job, you do it every single day, you start to know it better. So I can see where you're kind of knowing the distance and how long it is because this ain't new to you. You're seeing this on everyday basis.
I started to determine height by doing this. General satellites in the sky range anywhere between 80 and 100,000 feet. Our satellites that we have up there. So anything I see that's in that general satellite range, I know it's anywhere between 80 and 100,000 feet max. So that's a good way to determine that. Sometimes I'll look at an object pass behind a cloud and I'll say, all right, so that, and I'll try to like range the size, but it's impossible. Now, if there was a plane flying at the same height, I could say, okay, so this is the plane's, 137 feet long. This object is twice the size of the plane or half the size of the plane, but it's very hard to determine size, but it was very large.
And all of you who's watching this right now, all of you in the chat, one of the good reasons why I would say you want to follow Anthony and his channel is because he's doing this every day. So when you get somebody does something every day and trying to get better cameras, he's going to learn the sky better. He's going to learn the distance better, the size and everything, where if I took it like that, I probably wouldn't be able to sit here to tell you how big it is, how far up, because I don't do it as much as he does.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool when you follow certain people, kind of like when you watch Connor going out on his trips and trying to hear Bigfoots. He says he does it so much, he's hearing things that we're just not used to hearing, and we don't know the difference between. Is that something I should be looking at, or is that something I should be listening to more? When you have certain people that does it all the time.
My buddy Steve Barone, he's got the channel UFOs over Las Vegas. He just talked me into getting the new Luna Optics Generation 3 night vision binoculars. So those will be coming soon, and then I'll have 2 devices doing night vision. And the quality on the Luna Optics is like 10 times better than the Psionics. So I can't wait to see the different light spectrums and the things that picks up. So it should be interesting.
Then we got one more.
Yeah, this is a photo that I took a few minutes after that thing blew up, right over the same area. I got one shot of this because it was in the clouds. And I don't know what it was. For me to say that it's unidentified. But I mean, I don't know if it was a plane or what. I don't remember any strobe lights flashing the clouds or anything like that. I seen the clouds light up. I took the photo. I took 2 photos, and that was the one that came out the best. It appears to be that triangular shape to it, but that could be an optical illusion from the clouds and the humidity. I don't know. The photo just looked really cool, and being that it was right over the same area where that light explosion of light came from, I decided to show it.
No, that's awesome. Well, actually, that picture kind of goes with the title of the show today, right? UFO clouds and stuff, the phenomenon, and the video of the Ontario. Even though the Ontario, we know that's a cloud, that's a weather. Well, we think that's what it is, but what if it's not? What if that one is the real? And this was more the phenomenon. I mean, you really, truly, 100% don't know. That's why you do show it. And that's why we study it and learn it. So guys, beyond that,
just real quick, in a small way. I kind of see like a face, it's like that white blob is like a circle, and then you kind of see the black dots as the 2 eyes. It honestly looks like an alien face right there.
Oh shit, I see that.
Pretty wild.
Look at that. It does look like a round face. Like even
with the sharp nose downward too.
Yeah.
That's
pretty next level.
Very cool.
And guys, this is why it's so cool when you have sometimes 2-3 people on, because somebody else might see something that you wouldn't have saw. I would not even thought about seeing the face until, and it wasn't even zoomed up to this point. That's good, right. Connor. That's good.
Very
good.
Now
you get a different point of view of, is that a message?
Who knows, man? I don't know. Could you imagine though?
I mean, there's so much out there we just don't know. I mean,
There
we're scratching
really
the
is.
surface, and it's just fantastic to have platforms like YouTube and different platforms to be able to share information, talk to each other. Because you guys saw that newscast I showed you guys. They don't give a shit. They're not going to give it the respect. You think those three would have watched this here, and one of them would have spotted the face? No, it took a guy like Connor to think outside and really looking at it.
Outside the box. Yeah, absolutely, man.
And those
it's always
kind of
good to have a
aren't.
fresh pair of eyes on everything,
So beyond that, guys, tomorrow I'm gonna be back on the exact same time, and most of my shows now are going to be basically in the morning, but I will be probably adding some shows on Sundays since my shift will be changing to Tuesday to Saturday eventually. So Sundays and stuff, but right before we go, Connor, I know you might have a lot of plans this weekend. You're still working on them. So what's coming up for Connor starting today to the weekend?
I am linking up with Mitch right after this. We were joking around. I was telling him about the morning show. I'm like, oh, we're experimenting with the morning and the night show, and he's like, oh, I'm more of a night guy. I'm like, yeah, me too. But the mornings are really magical because you got UFO rebellious ufology, and then you have Alien Girl even earlier than that. And then you have Chad Smith. So if you can have this block and it fits in, and then Anthony is able to be here, of course, and whenever I can. I think it's a magical time, and I told him we had a couple donations, a couple people joined. It's like the mornings are fresh. Like I think it's what people need.
Well, Connor, I was debating nighttime in the morning, and I'm like thinking to myself, problem with nighttime is the time I go on the West Coast, everybody on the East Coast is sleeping. But at least in the morning, the East Coast people are up, and a lot of people on the West Coast are getting up. And wouldn't it be awesome if you get up in the morning, guys, in the West Coast, you get up, and you're like, holy shit, that crazy guy with the cowboy hat and glasses is on. Let's check him out. Maybe he'll make me happy before I get to work.
Hey, Eric, I just sent you something. If you got 2 minutes, up to you. I sent you something also from last night of an object that powers up in the sky. So starts off tiny little faint nothing and then just gets super duper bright and goes back out.
Wow.
And keep in mind that those I forgot the name of that. Give me a minute, it'll come to me. I can't think of the name of the satellite I'm thinking
I see it right there.
Watch this. That breakfast channel that showed that orb in the sky. I wish they would show something like this, like I got. Would have been really cool for people to see. And again, this was last night. Nobody's laid eyes on it yet. Use it the first.
It's 11 a.m. where Scott is. Perfect.
So now I switched over to regular camera mode. It's out in night vision now. So that's exactly what this object is looking like to me. And any minute now, this thing's going to just an explosion of light. And this is at like almost like 1:30 in the a.m. There it goes. It's going to start powering up right now.
Jesus. What created that flash on your camera?
I clicked it back into night vision.
Got you. I didn't know if it sent out like a burst and it did that itself.
But it was cool to see. Everybody's
you guys
over
gotta
there.
love Anthony's honesty, because he could have said, "Oh, that was a flash of the sky." No, he said it was just changing his camera.
No, there's 3 settings on that. People like to see what it looks like in like the actual camera setting.
Ooh, Brown Dwarf got some stuff last night. Brown Dwarf,
oh, dude,
you should Brown George, email me that if you don't mind. I love to show that tomorrow morning.
I'm trying to figure out now, because these orbs in the sky, they're only like 30 to 40,000 feet up. So they're not in space. So there's no way in hell they're satellites. So I have no idea what I've been filming, because a lot of them are really low. It's very odd, and it's driving me nuts trying to figure out what they are.
No, I love it. I love it. So everybody in the chat, I'm gonna basically end the show. I want to thank these two awesome guys for showing up in the mornings. It's a little different, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, man.
Kind of makes me feel better because now when I about to get dressed and go to my workplace, I feel better because did a great show, great people in the chat, got me in a good mood. And hopefully, if everything goes right with Connor, hopefully he gets to go to New Orleans this weekend. If he does go, oh my God, I can imagine the footages we're gonna get. But
be awesome.
But we, I know you're still working on that.
Yeah,
and,
either way, it's gonna be magical. It's either gonna be I stay local and we make a 48-hour horror film, or I go on the road and I'm gonna stop in Mobile at the haunted it's a naval ship. But I'm pretty sure they've landed, planes on top of it and jets on top of it.
Where is that? New Orleans, the haunted naval
That's
ship?
it. That's in Mobile.
Is
But
that
it's
the one that Ghost Adventures went to and did the night on the Navy ship?
I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look back.
They did one on a Navy ship at night. Yeah.
There's so many Navy ships out there, but it might be.
This one was in Alabama, and it was extremely haunted, man. So you might be in for a treat on that one. If it's
the one in Mobile, then that might give me a little bit of oomph.
I should have done a poll. What Connor should do if he gets to pick one or the other? I kind of want the 48-hour horror movie.
Oh hell yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's just if I can get Jack and Mitch to do it. But today we're going to be working on Mitch's proof of concept for his feature film, because you have a feature film, like a full-length movie. You gotta create something that proves you made it before the year-long process starts. So we're gonna film like a little short concept film, kind of like a short film, and it's gonna be really cool. So hopefully I can play one of the characters pretty well, and then we can hire some real professional to knock it out of the park in the feature. Because I'm going to actually be playing a bartender in the feature, just a guy with a lot of cool information, an outsider of the town that just kind of keeps the main characters on their trail. So
if you need any extras, let me know. I would love to be in a cool movie.
And if I can give you little tips, you should get yourself a role like in a cartoon or something. Get that voice character going. If you do something like that, you'll probably be a better actor. So find yourself a cartoon to be in.
Yeah, there's this guy that has the Paranormal Highway. He does some crazy cartoons. You should hook up with that dude.
Yeah.
Beyond that, guys, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. I see it at the end of the show. We got over 30. That's fantastic. I appreciate it. So, guys, get used to this time. And Chad Smith, you cannot go back to 7 because I'm stealing that time frame from you. Sorry, buddy. 8 o'clock. Go over to Chad Smith. We'll all say hi to you guys.